So, a few weeks ago, I asked myself something. What if I let AI design a game prop for me and I just clean it up? That's exactly what I did today. So, let's get into it.
First, I take my reference photo into Gemini. I clean up the background, sharpen the details, and prepare it for AI model generator. I'll drop this exact prompt in the description if you want to try it yourself. Next, I upload it to Tripo 3D. If you already have a subscription there, it's a solid option. If not, don't worry. I'll show you a free route in a second. Tripo gives me a really nice result here, but without a subscription, I can't download it. So instead of waiting on that, let me show you a site called top3d.ai, where you can compare the best AI generators out there for texture, geometry, low poly output, whatever you need. From there, I go to Decimate 3D and upload the same photo. Now, it's just a waiting game while it generates. This one is free to download, and honestly, the quality holds up well. Models downloaded. Time to bring it into Blender. First thing I do, duplicate it. One copy stays high poly and the other becomes my low poly. On the low poly, I throw a Decimate Modifier and just drag that ratio down until I land somewhere around 6000 triangles. For references, the high poly is sitting at almost 2 million. Now, here is a step people skip and regret. I weld all the loose vertices from that modifier so nothing falls apart later. Doesn't matter if the modifier toggle on or off in the viewport. What matters is that the weld actually happens. I clean up the low poly material, then double check the overlap between high and low poly. This part is important. If you move on, move the other with it, or you will wreck the alignment you need for the baking. Last step here. Export both as FBX with selected objects only. Checked, so I don't drag extra stuff line. Now, the UV unwrap. I do this in RizomUV, but you can do the exact same thing inside Blender. Once you see where the seams go, just to create them there. I'll be honest, this is the most tedious part of whole process. If you want, you can skip it entirely and use auto unwrap instead. I just prefer doing it by hand because it makes texturing way easier later. One thing worth nothing. The high poly doesn't need UVs at all. Only the low poly does. Into Substance Painter now. If you skip unwrapping, Substance Painter has its own auto unwrap too. Not my first choice, but it works in a pinch. I'll bring in the high poly, set the cache to automatic, resolution to 4K anti-aliasing at 8x8 and bake. And look at that. The high poly details bake down beautifully onto the low poly. Now the fun part, materials. I start with a smart metal material at the base. Then layer in a rust smart material and control how it spreads using masks and generators. Then I bring in a gold smart material for the metal parts and mask out where I don't want it using polygon fill and some hand painted black. I add some green and brown tones in a few spots to push that edge, weather fills even further. On top of that, dirt and edge wear layers to darken the edge and add some grime. I also blend in a few of substance building textures for a subtle combined bump, just enough so it doesn't look too clean or too digital. Then I add one more layer on top and hand paint some black with a custom alpha to push extra depth into the specific areas. Last layer goes on a pass-through mode, applied across all channels, and I run two filters on it. First, an Ambient Occlusion after adding an AO channel to the stack, then height to normal, which pushes all that surface detail into the normal map instead. Lighter files, same amount of detail, and I bump up the contrast and sharpness a bit to make it pop. Time to export. Base color, normal, and ORM as 2K JPEGs for Unreal. Nice and light. Normal maps exports as 16-bit PNG. That's how I keep the detail without bloating the file size. I rename every with a T underline prefix plus the object's name, just to keep things organized for the next step. Back in Blender, I clean out the old high and low poly and bring in the new UV low poly. I zero out the minimum, fix the scale and units, and rename the object with an SM underline prefix. I build a simple collision mesh, same name but with a UCX prefix this time, before the SM1. Apply all transform on both, reset the pivot to 0, select them together and export. Into Unreal now, I set up a clean folder structure. Mesh, material, textures. I import the mesh with no skeleton or animation and even textures and materials. Turn off the one convex hull and that's it. I slow down the viewport camera speed, disable nanite for now since it can cause visual glitches at this stage, and set the LOD group to a small prop. For textures, since my ORM map is packed non-color texture, I uncheck sRGB on it. Then I build my material. Base color to base color, normal to normal, and for the ORM, red into ambient occlusion, green into roughness, and blue into metallic. I make a material instance out of it, apply it to the mesh, and just like that, the asset is fully game ready. So here's my honest take. Right now, AI still isn't at the quality level a lot of us want, but it can genuinely speed up parts of your workflow, and I think we should learn to use it instead of being scared of it. In the end thought, I still believe human creativity and craftsmanship win. Maybe that changes down the road. We'll see. If this helped, hit subscribe. I'm making a lot more of this.